Surprise, motherfucker.
Corporations are people, my friend.
I'm glad they're at Guantanamo. I don't want them on our soil. I want them in Guantanamo when they don't get the access to lawyers they get when they're on our soil. I don't want them in our prisons. I want them there. Some people have said we ought to close Guantanamo. My view is we ought to build Guantanamo.
When asked, do you follow that? His response was this.
Not as closely as some of the most ardent fans, but I have some great friends that are NASCAR team owners.
As the stress levels rise in Washington, we are seeing some political writers now suggesting that racism is raising its ugly head in the middle of this showdown and really has become what this is about. Ben Shapiro is co-founder and editor of TruthRevolt.org, and editor-at-large of Breitbart News, is here now to explain. Ben, good to see you. So, this is in a column from Politico's Roger Simon, who says the government shutdown has unleashed racism and talks about how the racists among us think they can tell us what makes an American. And he goes through some examples of some racist comments that have been made. It seems attempting to portray those who feel differently than perhaps the Democrats in this contest as people who have a problem with those of color. Your thoughts?
And that's the way things have been rolled out by members of the left media. Roger Simon actually started that same column by suggesting that America would be better off if Speaker of the House John Boehner and Senator Ted Cruz both drowned. He actually said that he would make America a better place. And yet the folks who are on the other side are presumably the extremists. He tried to lump in everybody on the right with some moron out there with a Confederate flag at the White House, completely ignoring what the million vet march was really about, which was the Obama administration's vindictive attempt to shut down a war memorial simply to hurt veterans.
He talks about the guy with the Confederate flag, which is the Washington Post put up to eugenics paper. He talks about Joe Wolverbacher, better known as Joe the Plumber, who did come out with a bizarre article on his blog entitled "America Needs a White Republican President," and this is from Joe the Plumber. Admit it, you want a white Republican president again. Wanting a white Republican president doesn't make you racist, it just makes you American. Okay, Joe. But he holds this up like it's an example of how everyone other than Roger sees this government shutdown, sees this fight that we're seeing in Washington.
Well, that's what's so bizarre and absurd. I mean, when you talk about the leftist bullying, when you talk about the left castigating everyone that disagrees with them as people who hate blacks, hate Latinos, hate Jews, this is what the left does in order to attack character as opposed to winning on the arguments. The fact is the vast majority of people who have said that Obamacare needs to be stopped have no racist tendencies whatsoever. They would not be pro somebody at the White House with a Confederate flag or say that we need a white conservative president. But this is what the media does. What the media likes to do is misdirect. I mean, it's all a magic trick. If they can misdirect away from the real narrative here, then they can pretend that this is really all just about racism and hatred, when really the only racists and haters out there, at least aside from some fringe characters on the right, are folks on the left who pay attention to this stuff.
Well, the thing is, I mean, if you're going to be if you're going to be a basher and say this guy's racist comments speak for his entire party, then you got to do it both ways. Last night we were on the show talking about, the incoming that Clarence Thomas has taken. A conservative Supreme Court justice who's been called an Uncle Tom by Democrats, who one PBS commentator suggested he hoped he would die early.
Contraceptives, and so I talked about contraceptives and so forth, so I really misunderstood the question.
I believe, based on what I read, that the world is getting warmer. And number two, I believe that humans contribute to that.
The idea of America spending massive amounts, billions of dollars to not stop global warming is not a great idea.
And so I think it's important for us to reduce our emissions to reduce the greenhouse gases that may well be significant contributors to the climate change and the global warming trend.
Able to put in place a plan to help get health insurance premiums down and get to all of our citizens insured. If we can do that nationally, we help not only Michigan but the auto industry, but the entire nation. And I said, no, this is something that was crafted for Massachusetts. It would be wrong to adopt this.